as I prepare my space and my mind for this reading, let me give you a quick rundown of the case. Cayley Mandadi was a Trinity University student living in Texas, and she was very popular amongst her peers, classmates, and friends. Cayley was a cheerleader who always wore a big smile on her face and who was always willing to help brighten other people's days. Cayley Mandadi was last seen in San Antonio, Texas, at the Mala Luna Music Festival on October 29th, 2017. She left with her boyfriend, Mark Howerton. Now, it is important to note, before we say anything else, that Cayley's friends stated that Cayley was going to break up with Mark Howerton at the Mala Luna Music Festival. She was going to break up with him at the festival because she knew it may be a dangerous situation to break up with him if she was alone with him. So fast forward to later that night, and Mark Howerton pulls up to an emergency room at a hospital, and he claims that Cayley Mandadi was snoring in his car and suddenly stopped snoring, and that worried him, which caused him to bring her to the emergency room. So Cayley was placed on life support. It turned out she had hemorrhaging, and she had to be taken off of life support due to being brain dead. So unfortunately, Cayley was removed from the life support, and she was then pronounced dead. Now, Cayley's autopsy was deemed a homicide by the medical examiners. They said it was a homicide by blunt force, face, and head trauma. So could it be that Mark Howerton actually took out major rage and frustration on Cayley Mandadi because she wanted to leave him and get back with her on-again, off-again ex-boyfriend, Jet? Well, Mark Howerton has already been to trial in the death of Cayley Mandadi, and that trial ended in a hung jury. They could not decide if he was guilty or innocent. So as we wait for Mark Howerton's next trial, I just thought this would be the best time to let Cayley Mandadi come through and tell us what really happened to her. And now I'm going to light this candle in honor of Cayley Mandadi so that she can come through and tell her story using me and the tarot and oracle cards as a channel for her energy to come through. So I have Cayley and her picture right here in front of me so that I can always remain focused on her energy. And so, Cayley Mandadi, I ask you now to be with me while I have this candle lit so that I could be a channel for your energy to come through and tell us your story using me and the tarot and oracle cards. I'm going to start by pulling 3 of these cards. I'm going to shuffle 3 times, cut the deck, draw a card, and then repeat. Spontaneous behavior or mental illness. contributed to the crime. And I'm going to say that I already felt that as well. That this was something spontaneous, possibly brought on by anger or some type of strong emotion. All right, let's get the next one. Additional evidence at the scene may be discovered. So, I don't really know what there was anyway discovered at the scene. The scene would be his car. And the scene would also be her body itself, I think. All right, let's get the last card. There was a motive for committing the crime. Yep, there certainly was a motive for committing this crime, in my opinion. Because, like, during the first trial that ended in a hung jury, the witnesses being Cayley Mandadi's friends, they actually said that she was going to be breaking up with Mark Howerton at the Malaluna Music Festival. So, in my opinion, that would be a motive for someone, especially someone like Mark, because in the past, he actually trashed her dorm room at college because she wanted to go out with her friends, and he disagreed with that. So, I mean, he's been known to fly off the handle. Let's just put it that way. You know what? I was about to grab the regular Rider-Waite tarot, but I'm going straight to the Deviant Moon tarot. Okay. All right, Cayley. What we really want to see now, how do we want to start, Cayley? I'm going to start by pulling 3 cards regarding the situation that led to Cayley Mandadi's death. 3 cards regarding the situation that resulted in Cayley Mandadi's death. I'm going to shuffle one more time. Okay. Yeah. So we have the 3 of Swords. It's like a broken heart, right? So, Ace of Pentacles. When I see this image of the Ace of Pentacles, I see this dragon, which in my opinion would represent like the ego, the conscious ego. And it's grasping onto this thing, this pentacle. And so I feel like that's just the energy of Mark Howerton literally grasping onto what he had with her. Being like, yeah. Here's another pentacle. It's the Knight of Pentacles. Again, he's just grasping that pentacle. And he has all this pollution that follows him. Look at it. Look at all that smoke. All the different smokestacks coming off of his back. So, I feel like he was trying to have him all to herself. And he was also trying to pollute her thoughts regarding her life choices in her current situation. And I feel like it was all about avoiding that broken heart, in a way. Because it's like trying to have her all to himself. I say himself like it's Mark Howerton. But since I was asking for what led to her death. That's who I'm reading this as, because he is the last person to be with her. And he was with her at the time of this incident. It's unfortunate that we had a hung jury in the first trial, but, you know, I guess you want it to be done right, without a shadow of a doubt. So, Cayley, tell us more about that night. What happened to you, Cayley? What really happened? We got outside, and we got the propaganda fake news. I think that this card, definitely the fake news card, because the story is, one of the stories is wrong. I mean, either Mark Howerton killed Cayley or he didn't. And if he did, then he is giving us all this propaganda, fake news about himself and what happened that night. We also got the outside card, so I'm wondering if something actually may have happened outside rather than everything happening in the car. I don't know. Let's see what else we get. Grab the other half of this deck. That was the surveillance card. Neighborhood. Weird science. Suicide. I wonder if, okay, so I wonder if he ever threatened suicide if she ever left him. Like he was trying his own little experiment there with the weird science. Like, she won't leave me if I tell her I'm going to off myself. We also got surveillance and neighborhood. So I have a feeling that she was definitely being watched, like creeping around her neighborhood. Maybe there's also surveillance in her neighborhood or in the area of where this happened that could help lead to more information of what took place. I don't know if they really have any other evidence or not. So I guess, honestly, I need to watch the trial or something because I don't really know all of the evidence that came out at all. So there's that. All right, so tell us more, Cayley. You want to keep telling us. I'm going to give these a few shuffles and then see what comes out. All right, so what really happened to you, Cayley? Toxic, unhealthy people, behaviors. That was what poisoned her. There was like the drug Molly in her system, and a lot of it. Like more, I think there was definitely more than she would have needed to feel the effects of the drug. Yeah, insatiable. Yeah, wanting more. Whoa, whoa. That was way too many. Let me pick them up. Yep. Okay. This was definitely done because first he was given access. Because as I was shuffling, I was looking at these two again, the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. And what I was kind of thinking as I gazed upon these while I was shuffling was that Mark Howerton was not her only love interest, because Cayley Mandadi also had an ongoing relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Jet. And I believe she was actually telling her friends that she wanted to leave Mark to get back with Jet. And there is, in the police interview with Mark Howerton after he brought her to the hospital, there was an interview where he starts saying things like, I was telling her she doesn't need to hang around those people. She doesn't need those people in her life. That was him polluting her life, her thoughts, what she had going on. That was him wanting her all to himself. Okay? So then, as I was shuffling and thinking that while I was gazing at those, first we got access granted. So she granted him access to her life. And then the next card that fell out was denial. So it's like she gave him the access to her and then she took it away. But he was still wanting more from her. Like it wasn't enough. It will never be enough. That was too many. Okay. Well. Okay. We had these two fall out together into my lap. Fire and Frozen. It's kind of like access granted and then denied. Or it's like, first you're hot, then you're cold. A lot like cryptocurrency. This one fell out first and it was like, what is that about? I'm not real sure what this one's about. I'm trying to decide if that one even fits here. But it came out right before these two. All right, well, the two that just came out were War and Corruption. I definitely feel like this War card, especially next to the Corruption, is like he was definitely angry. He was definitely ready to battle her over this situation. He thought that he had her convinced that he was the way to go. He already thought the battle had been won against those friends and, her ex-boyfriend and all the people from her past. But no, now she came to tell him, I don't want you anymore, and I'm going back to them. So I feel like that made him feel definitely a sense of a battle almost against the others. And for some reason, I keep looking at this one and I keep hearing fake, fake, fake. I don't know why. Maybe it's just Cayley saying we didn't mean to drop that one, or maybe something's fake. Oh. That's weird. That was AI. Okay. All right. So we got the cryptocurrency AI, because I was asking, what does this mean, the cryptocurrency? And then we got like communication, love, social media, and perversion, all in one drop after the AI. Social media, communication. So I feel like maybe a lot of their love wasn't even real. Fake is what it was. Where it looked like it was fire, it was actually frozen. That's what I'm starting to collect, all stemming from the cryptocurrency card. So cryptocurrency led to the AI. Whenever I see AI, I'm always thinking like, you know, the internet or social media. And next thing you know, we got the social media card with communication, love, and perversion. So I feel like, you know, the image of this relationship was actually better than the relationship itself, because I kept hearing fake when I saw that cryptocurrency card. So the relationship wasn't even that great. They weren't even seeing each other very long. But yet, you know, he was already saying, I'm going to kill myself if you leave me. I think she was afraid to leave him. But that's why she decided to do it at the music festival, right? Let's see if any other messages want to come out of this one before the end of this reading. This one says drama queen, thirsty, causing chaos. All right. All right, so for the drama queen thing, we got like, okay, first of all, it was a surprise, I think, that a new offer was on the table for a relationship, you know? So I think drama queen is really like the way Mark was seeing Cayley in the end, right at the very end. Yeah, because then we got roller coaster, highest high, adrenaline rush. And that's with trigger, name, car, place. And this whole thing allegedly took place in Mark Howerton's car. And it was a form of punishment, payback, retaliation, revenge against the new offer that was on the table. It was against her drama queen friends that he couldn't stand. This one card was turned the wrong way on the deck, and I noticed it, so I fished it out. It says wooded area. So I don't know what kind of wooded area they may have gone to, if anything. But I'll put that off to the side. This is the one that just fell off. Clean up. Death. Okay, that was too many. All right, is there any other messages in this deck for us, Cayley? Bloodline. Okay, yeah. Because here's what came out before. We had the wooded area and then cleanup and death. And then, I was kind of thinking, what does that mean, the cleanup of the death? Maybe it did happen in a wooded area so that there wouldn't be a need to really clean up. And then we got bloodline. And I was like thinking, what does that mean? But not necessarily bloodline like in the family, but more like bloodline as in cleaning up, like cleaning up the blood, or maybe someone didn't clean up the blood from that death in some way. I'm interested to see how the second trial turns out for Mark Howerton. All right, Cayley, is that about it? No, yeah, I think that that's about it for this reading. So just as a quick review, the first three cards that we had were that it was spontaneous behavior or mental illness, that was contributing to that crime. We also got additional evidence at the scene may be discovered. And the way I look at it is that the scene would consist of either Mark Howerton's car or Cayley Mandadi's body itself. There's also a motive for committing the crime, and I think that we've kind of found that out. The motive was his insatiable desire to just have her all to himself. That's what the cards are telling me. All right, you guys. So yeah, definitely when I pulled the three cards that had to do with the energy of the situation that led to her death, we got the heartache, and we got that Ace of Pentacles along with the Knight of Pentacles under that to clarify. And it was that he wanted her all to himself. He was trying to pollute her thinking, make her want him more. He would always be saying he was going to off himself, as a weird way of getting her to stick around, I guess. That was propaganda, fake news. He also is telling propaganda, fake news, as he is saying he had nothing to do with this. Remember, we got the war and the corruption card. So there was definitely some kind of battle going on. Something was corrupted, that being most likely their relationship. And at that point, he was then also corrupted with those lower energies, that get you to do something absolutely insane. Now, there may be surveillance around where this took place that might offer more details, but otherwise it could just be saying that he definitely had his eyes on her, drove around her neighborhood, made sure that he always knew what was taking place in Cayley Mandadi's life. I think that it was kind of like an obsession, because we got the insatiable card. It's unquenchable, his desire for her. She did give him access, but at the Mala Luna Music Festival, she was taking it away. So this turned into, he saw all her friends and other people she was going back to as the drama, creating chaos. So we have the car as a trigger. This was retaliation due to the surprise offer on the table. We got the roller coaster because it's like, first of all, they were both on drugs. So we got the highest high, right? But not only that, but I feel like his anger was kind of like a roller coaster. It was almost like rage that suddenly just hit a peak, right? And when we got the cryptocurrency card, I kept hearing the word fake. So I decided to pull cards for clarity. I first got AI with that, leading me to fake, having to do with social media or the internet and the like. And that is when we got social media, communication, and the perversion, love together. So what that was telling me, oh yeah, we also got the frozen and fire. So I just think that it looked a lot better on the outside than what it really was, especially from Cayley's perspective. So, you know, in pictures, it looks like she's really happy with him and she likes him, but really this whole time she's like planning to leave him and go off with this other person. And I just feel like Mark himself may have just had this inflated view. It was a perverted view of their relationship based on, I don't know, maybe how it looked or how it was communicated over the internet or over text messages and things like that. We randomly got the wooded area card. It was flipped the wrong way, so I'm not real sure if that matters or not. But right after that, we got the death and the cleanup. Remember the bloodline card also. So there was some kind of cleanup in the death, maybe with some type of blood. Or a possible lack of cleanup, and that's why we know the blood's there. But so yeah, in the end, I think that it's possible we may get some additional evidence in the second trial that could lead to a more final answer here in the court of law. But according to this tarot reading, it's not looking good for Mark Howerton. It's looking as though he definitely had something to do with this based on based on the fact that he had this sudden emotion come out. I just heard a big bang. I don't know if it was on the camera or not. All right, you guys, so I think that pretty much wraps it up for Cayley Mandadi's reading. It was about retaliation against the denial that was being felt at that current time. It was a spontaneous behavior that, basically spontaneous behavior like rage, mental illness. Maybe he was on steroids or something too, because he used to like lift weights. He used to look like he had the big muscles, So who knows about that part? It could have been maybe a factor in the outcome here, but maybe not. But either way, I'm definitely seeing that, yeah, there was also a motive for the crime. We've talked about that today as well. The motive was rage, jealousy, and just, I think, mostly anger, rage at that point. So, I'm so sorry, Cayley Mandadi, that this happened. You had your whole life ahead of you. So, here she is again. And now, Cayley, I'm going to release you to go back to the energy from where you came. And thank you so much for being here to share your story with us and to tell us what really happened to you through the tarot and oracle cards. So I'm closing myself off as a channel now. Thank you, Cayley Mandadi. I love you and goodbye.